Alright then everybody, we are here with an Everton rebuild, an Everton road to glory, an Everton basically saved to try and keep them going. This team is on the brink of relegation this season and have been in this situation for quite some time now, and you know what, David Moyes has just come in and went, you know what, it's time to save them. We are going to attempt to save Everton. We're going to give ourselves 10 seasons. I have to win pretty much everything I can within 10 seasons. If I don't do anything in 10 seasons, we're out the door, unless I get sacked before then. So this is how we are currently looking in the Premier League. We're in at 16th, 19 games played, only 3 wins, 8 draws and 8 losses there, with only 15 goals scored, which is very poor. 25 against us. Actually, I think Pickford's up there with a lot of clean sheets this season, and 17 points on the board. We are 4 points off of Palace there, who are just slightly above us, and literally only a point above the relegation drop. So this is going to be a big build. Let's see what we can do. I think the first, the rest of this season and then the whole of next season is just going to be a bit of a let's mix and match the team, try and bring some players in, see if they're going to work. Let's take some players out and just see if we can survive. The seasons after that are definitely going to be pushing for pretty much everything we can get our hands on. One thing we've got to sort out straight away with this team is contracts. There is so many players who are out of contract at the end of this very first season. So this is exactly where a lot of our money is going to have to go right now. The budget is actually pretty nice to us this season. I've already sent an academy scout out. We've also brought in some new scouts and put out some new scouting instructions. So we're hopefully going to be bringing in some players in January, which we are in right now. Let's go over to what we have transfer listed right now. So here's our shortlist so far. I've just got Garang Kuyol and Nestri Iran Kunda, I think it is, 2 Australian forwards here. I'm very excited to just know the potential of these two. This guy currently out on loan at Bayern Munich, I believe. I'm not too sure, or he plays for Bayern Munich because he's out on loan, vice versa, it works. And then Garang Kuyol, obviously, with me being a Toon fan, I would absolutely love this kid to do very well in his career, and with him not getting game time at Newcastle, I feel like it would make sense to bring him here and just try and grow him here. If we go over to our transfer listed for the season, we're not actually looking to sell anyone. There's not really anyone of value in the team so far, and a lot of them players of value were running out of contract and I've just re-signed them, so we're not going to be selling them. But just for the remainder of this season, we want Harrison Armstrong out on loan, Roman Dixon out on loan, Schmidt out on loan. We've got Lewis Hudson, Jesse Chambers, Ming Sink Choi and Tong Hon Ro, with Max Elliott all in from the youth academy, and I'm trying to get these out on loan just for the remainder of this season as well. Alright then, the very first signing of the save is Garang Kuyol. I have ended up going in from just before our very first game in charge as David Moyes. The player models all over the place. Don't worry about it. I tried my best. It's horrifying, actually. But there you have it. We got Garang Kuyol in on a 5-year deal. 40 grand a week, which is a bit much, but 2 million from Newcastle. Unfortunately, couldn't loan him in, so I just had to go and buy him, but that's not too bad. I just had to do it. We've had to bring in a new midfielder to this team, and he's surprisingly cheap for the kind of player we could potentially be getting here. It's Neuhaus. I have not heard this name in such a long time, but honestly, I feel like this could be a bargain. He could be good, he could be shite. He is 27, so he's sort of getting on. In a way, though, I mean, 27 is not even your prime. I'd say 28's hitting your prime. But he joins us as a good squad player. He's probably going to go straight into the starting lineup. We'll see how that goes. But he joins us on a 4-year deal, 45k a week, with a £200,000 signing bonus. 6.25 million. Really not bad at all, that. I've decided to go ahead and sign another midfielder. That makes it 3 signings here in the very first January of this career mode. The David Moyes character model's looking horrible, but we'll move Merlin Roll. I've used this guy in like 2 career modes, and one of them he was very successful in, the other one he wasn't so successful. I could potentially be leaning towards he might not be that successful at Everton, but he should be a strong player to come in with Neuhaus, try and turn things around at the bottom of the table. But Merlin Roll joins us here from Freiburg. Abdoulaye Doucouré plus £13.1 million. Really not a bad transfer whatsoever. Pretty pricey on 50k a week, but it is a 5-year contract, so he's stuck into that for 5 years, which is not bad whatsoever. And he's still only 22. With me bringing in the two midfielders, I feel like Lindstrom's time at Everton has been not the best. He currently has 20 appearances at the club here and just absolutely nothing to show for it, really. The average rating, that doesn't even look real. The average rating of 0.93. This guy's been an absolute disaster at this club, and I believe Lindstrom's time here is up. We're going to terminate his loan. I think we're going to keep Harrison here on loan. He's going to be a key right winger for the rest of this season. But let's go and have a look at what the team is looking like then at the end of the window. This is how we're looking. Roll comes straight into the role in the midfield. Neuhaus and Gaia just down there. He is, well, he's got 1 year left on his deal, sorry, so he's going to be gone shortly. Coleman's retiring. I believe Young is also retiring. I don't know how to say his name, but this guy has loads of potential apparently. I will be getting him game time, especially next season. This season though, I think we're just looking to stay up. I don't want to be using Garan Kuyol just for the sake of it. I would rather play the strongest lineup I can possible, say, just for instance, say I don't want to play Elliott because I'm just going to put out the strongest team I can and try and keep us up this season. Right then, at the end of the very first season there, then only half a season in charge though, we have really pulled this team together. We started after 19 games in at 17th, and then 19 games later we were in at 14th. Went up very slightly, went from 3 wins to 9, really not bad at all. We've definitely changed something about this team, whether it's tactics or whatever, but Everton survive yet again to tell the tale in the Premier League. The team's gone down Southampton with one of the most disappointing seasons ever. Ipswich and Leicester, just the 3 teams that come up. Wolves are literally on the brink of going down now, which is crazy. West Ham very close as well, same with Palace. And we are surviving at a decent level, I would say. This is kind of what I expect the league to actually look like in real life. Obviously, I think teams like Forest and Newcastle will be very slightly higher than that. Also, City have somehow come back and turned things around to win the Premier League, even though they're like bloody a lot more than 10 points below Liverpool now, who are top. So I don't know what's happened in this game for that to happen. But Liverpool bottled the league title, literally only by a point, and City have only won it on goal difference, which is crazy. Absolutely mental there. Bournemouth making European football is mental as well. But yeah, I kind of expect the league to look like this in real life, bar I would say Forest and Newcastle. I think Bournemouth will finish lower than 5th, but I think Forest will genuinely make top 4 and Newcastle will be on the verge of making top 4. I believe we could actually knock a team like Arsenal out of that position if that's what it means to get there. United 9th, very typical. Spurs 11th, I can absolutely see it. And yeah, overall I'm happy with that, with only bringing 2 players in. The reason I'm saying 2 is Garan Kuyol actually only ever played 1 game since joining us, but this is just a quick little roll through at some of the statistics for the players this season. A very nice way to finish their careers for Ashley Young and Seamus Coleman. They're both retiring. It makes a lot more space for Patterson to come in. Idrissa Gueye only has 1 year left on his deal, but I believe he's probably going to retire at the end of next year anyway. Tim, I'm just going to call him Tim. I hope this guy does well. I've heard a lot of good things about him. I heard that he could be the future of Everton if they keep him, so we're going to try our best to stick with him. Mangala, I've generally been impressed with. It would be nice to bring him in permanently if we could, but I think with having Roll and Neuhaus here, I don't really think Mangala's going to fit into the team. I understand Roll literally didn't register anything, and Neuhaus got 1 goal, 2 assists there. But there is more to come. Maybe he's not from Neuhaus, he is already 28, but Roll definitely, the kid's only, he's younger than James Garner, and I rate Garner highly, so let's see what Roll can do next season. Player of the season for us got to be Dwight McNeil, absolutely, the kid's fantastic, and still quite young as well. Iliman Ndiaye, very good first season in an Everton top there. I mean, the average rating does not look good at all, but 10 goals, 1 assist, you can't complain, can you? Yeah, like I said, Kuyol didn't get game time. I hope he does get some next season. Jack Harrison doing well. Yet another player I would kind of like to bring in on a permanent deal, or if we can replace him with maybe that other Australian player, then I will probably do that instead. Bit of a younger player to bring in, already got Australian connection here, so I feel like it would make a bit of sense. And we also had, was it Cahill, who was Australian, used to play at Everton, so I feel like, you know, we're kind of going along with a bit of a script here, which I kind of like. And then Calvert-Lewin finishing the season with 11 goals, 3 assists, Beto only scoring 2, only playing half the season as well though, which isn't great. And then Schmidt, he done pretty well out on loan there. He went out on loan to Brentford, grabbed himself a goal and an assist in 9 games. So I think Broyar's probably just going back to Chelsea. Players like Neil Maupay I can probably sell next year. Calvert-Lewin did end up signing a new long-term deal with us, a 4-year extension to his contract, so I believe I'm probably keeping Calvert-Lewin next year. And just a reminder, yet again, it was a live start point. We only had half a season to do this and only one transfer window, but we have finished 14th in the Premier League. We saved them from relegation, which is pretty much all we needed. We finished in the round 4 of the FA Cup and then a pretty poor Carabao Cup there at just round 3. I believe they got knocked out of that before I even had a chance to play in it, so we'll see if we can do a little bit better next year. Joined us, it is Issa Kabore from Manchester City here, going into the second season, 12.7 million. I had to get this signing done as another team was coming in for him straight away. So it's a 5-year contract, 70k a week, which is quite a lot, but hopefully long term he's worth it. With it being 5 years, he's going to be into his prime. He should be one of the world's best right backs at the way I play football, I can tell you that. The budget is actually a lot higher. Obviously, I've already spent some money on coaches, and then getting Kabore in as wage is pretty hefty as well, so you've got to take that off. But we've currently got 61 million to spend, and I'm actually looking to sell strikers this season and bring a striker in. I've been looking at a few players like Hlozek, players like Karim Konate, so there could be a big striker coming in who could replace Calvert-Lewin long term as well. But let's go and have a look at who we have transfer listed, and let's have a look at who could potentially be bringing in. And there is a big list, and like I said, I'm going to be getting rid of some strikers. We are selling Maupay and Beto this season. I'm trying to get offers in for them. We've got Holgate being sold on Yanko. We've got Choi with Rowe being sold, as well as Jackson Hansen there. And then the loan deals this season, yet again, it's more of just the youth players. We've got Armstrong going back out on loan. Okorowo, I think he's called, Francis here, potentially going out on loan again. Metcalf, we've got Max Elliott, Arthur Hill, and Arlo Stevens, all potentially going out on loan. Looking at to potentially bring in, I do need to change some of this, so like my right back needs to go. We do have Eric Bailly. I know it's just a bit of a weird one, but he's a free agent. He's completely free, and we have a lot of centre backs already, but if I'm getting him in for free, I may as well. We'll see though. We've got Verman in here. I don't know if we're going to be going in for him. He is quite expensive. Loads of potential, but I feel like we're just going to see how Roll and Neuhaus get on. Nestri is definitely a player I want to bring in. I don't know how recent it is that he actually went to Bayern Munich. I'd imagine pretty recent, because I do not remember him being sold there, but I'd love to bring this guy in to go on that right-hand side. We've got Doan. This guy's been exceptional in real life, has like 10 assists already in the Bundesliga, so I'd like to bring him in and just see how he does in FIFA. He is a 79 overall, so instead of bringing in Harrison permanently, I feel like one of these two would do bits. We've got Rekulem here from Atletico Madrid. We've got Ru Yong from Stuttgart here. Probably going to be a bench player to Dwight McNeil there in the attack and midfield role. We've got Matty Tell as well, another striking option. There's loads of striking options here. We've got Matty Tell, Delap and Hlozek. I don't know about Tell. I know City tried to get him in January and they failed. He's probably just too expensive. I feel like going in for Delap or Hlozek's going to work out cheaper, and to be honest, I mean, definitely Hlozek. I know Hlozek can be better than Tell. I'm not too sure about Delap, but the potential's still there. And then finally on the short list, we've got Kevin Schauder. I think that's how you say it properly. I'll just call him Shade. But Kevin Schauder here as well, probably going to be a backup to Iliman Ndiaye if we do get him in, but we'll see nonetheless. Head and go for Eric Bailly here, just a completely free transfer, quite expensive contract wise. We have had to spend, I believe, 43k a week, but it's a 3-year deal, and he's going to replace someone like Holgate just for the next few seasons. Go ahead and do it. Nestri has joined us from Bayern Munich. I believe he was only there for a season and he was loaned out in that season he joined Bayern Munich. So I'm pretty certain this guy's not played at Bayern Munich and he's just been moved on like that. But he's only 19. It's a 5-year contract, 48 grand a week, which is a bit much. Even though he's 72 overall, I think I might just start this kid. That we have went for is a big one. It is Liam Delap from Ipswich. He was not at Ipswich long, was he? And I can see this happening in real life, definitely. I'd imagine one of the bigger teams picks him up, but I can see this happening slightly, you know. Everton, new owners, new manager. He's going to want someone like this, a gritty English striker. He does the dirty work, he gets things done. Don't know why Pickford was in his boxers there. Not quite sure what's going on. Oh, Liam Delap is as well. Fucking hell. We're all in my boxers, apparently. Liam Delap joins us from Ipswich. 17 million, which you would go for extortionate price in real life, I would imagine. So we've got a bargain there in my eyes. His contract is a huge issue though. He was on 30 grand a week at Ipswich and wanted 80 grand a week for his 5 years here at Everton. Also a 25 goal bonus of £1 million. If he gets 25 goals in 5 years, which he's pretty much guaranteed to at this point, he's going to get £1 million from it, which is crazy. But long term, what a replacement he is going to be for our striking force. Some midfielders leaving us. We have had to bring in a new backup attacking midfielder to Dwight McNeil and welcome Wu Yong. I did show him in the shortlist there from Stuttgart, a £6.1 million deal, which is really not bad at all. He's fixed in with a 3-year contract, the 25-year-old, 45k a week. Should be a brilliant backup. This is an absolute shock. I realised that I kind of needed either a better right winger or someone to come in as a backup, and he isn't quite going to be a backup with currently having Nestri on the right hand side. But Miguel Almiron from Newcastle United has to join us on an £8 million transfer here. I think it's pretty spot on. They give him a B for good pricing. The 31-year-old is fixed with a 3-year contract here. 80 grand a week. I did not realise how much he was on at Newcastle. He's on 82 grand a week in Newcastle, so I actually brought his wage down a bit, but he's willing to take that, and I think Nestri will then drop to the bench, but then it leaves him and Kuyol as our bench wingers as backup for Iliman Ndiaye and Almiron, and I think if we can bring that purple patch Almiron back, we could be in for a solid season. Do a little bit of a catch-up, little bit of an update, because we have sold some players as well. We've got loads of loan deals happening here with a lot of youth players. Some of the lower rated ones are being sold. But as we go down the list here, we have sold Mason Holgate, which is a brilliant deal. We've got Neil Maupay going to West Ham there. That's bringing in some money. James Garner, who I didn't actually have on the transfer list, but I just thought, I think with the midfielders I've brought in, I don't think James Garner is going to fit in with them. He was actually complaining towards the end of last season about game time, so I was like, well, you can get game time elsewhere, I suppose. So we've sold him for a bit of money as well, and we sold Beto to Lens. We've got Onyongo going out there, and then look at some of the business we've done though. Some of the business we've done is absolutely top notch, and I believe it was the most expensive. It'll be Delap owner, yeah, Delap. So I believe what we've done here is enough to at least get us mid-table. Now the board objective is to make Europa League, which is a push. I think depending on injuries, that could be definitely doable. And if we get Purple Patch Miggy, it's absolutely doable. He helped Newcastle get Champions League, so let's see what we can do. I'll catch up with you halfway through the season. We've made it to the halfway point of the season. We took over a year ago today exactly, 19 games in, and we're already doing much better than where we were at. We had, I think it was, 3 wins, 8 draws and 8 losses, so we're doing slightly better than what we were last season. This is how the rest of the league is looking. Spurs are top after coming 11th last year. I don't know how they've managed that. Wolves as well. What kind of rebuild they've been through, I do not know. But this is currently how the league table is looking. I need to talk about this because I did not whatsoever accept an offer for Calvert-Lewin. I've not accepted an offer for Calvert-Lewin, and he has been gone since summer. I've not had a backup striker since summer because the game has sold Calvert-Lewin. I can promise you right now, I did not press a single button. I literally showed you last season that we signed him to a new long-term contract, and he has been sold. Completely out of my control, he has been sold. I've just been working with Liam Delap up top all season. There is no bench striker here. There is no bench striker. in the entire team. Because Schmidt's out on loan and the other youngsters out on loan as well. So this is what I've been working with all season. I don't know how that has happened. I wanted to keep Calvert-Lewin as... I've not accepted an offer. The game is accepting things for us, which has now actually worried me for simulating, because it might just sell a player I don't want sold. I don't know what's happened there. Very annoying. In January, I guess I'm going to have to either recall someone or bring in a new striker. I may as well spend the money that was sold Calvert-Lewin with then. So I've brought in a new striker, Fabricio, in January. San Lorenzo, he's from, I don't know if that's a Brazilian team. He is Brazilian himself. I'm expecting that's a Brazilian side. But the 25-year-old has joined us on a 4-year contract. 44 grand a week is not bad. He's going to be the backup to Liam Delap. As well in January, a new winger for on the bench. We've got Samuel Illing Jr. joining us from Aston Villa. I've used this guy in plenty of career modes and he has been exceptional. In last FIFA, I don't know what he's like this FIFA, but last FIFA, he was a brilliant little player. I've only got him for 10.9 million, which is an absolute bargain in my eyes. The 22-year-old joins us on a 5-year contract, 80 grand a week, which is quite crazy for being a bench player, but he's probably going to turn into a starting player in a good few seasons' time. This is absolutely mental. We have made the FA Cup final and Millwall are the team we're playing. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy game, but if we're going to win a trophy, this is surely one of the easiest roads to winning one. And Millwall, can I just say, well fucking done. This is why I love the FA Cup. This is why the FA Cup's massive. Millwall have a chance at winning one of the biggest trophies in Europe and definitely a chance to make European football for the very first time. This is just crazy. I need to see the road that they have taken. Do they even start in this leg? I'm not sure where Millwall start from. Surely it's around here. There's no way they've managed to do this with playing some tough teams. Surely not. I can't. I'm probably blind and I've just completely missed them. Okay, so a 4-1 win against Bromley. Fair enough. Expected. Where else have they went here? How did Stoke take City at penalties, by the way? Millwall then beat Southampton 1-0. They've then beat QPR 1-0. Okay, so it's, yeah, Swansea 3-0. Okay, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. It's a bit of an easy run there. I mean, 3-2 against Watford. Watford gave them a good one. But here we are. We're going to Wembley. Well, we're in Wembley at the semis, don't get us wrong there. But a chance at silverware in our very first season. Bring it on. Second season. First full season.
I mean, what a way to do it then. Potentially going to win our very first trophy here at Wembley in the FA Cup final. Such a historical trophy, and it's so nice to see a team like Millwall come up. Obviously expecting us to win this. We are definitely the favourites, I would say. Millwall have not actually made any changes to their team since the very start of this save. This is the team that's going out. Yes, I'm putting Tim in there over Neuhaus, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, like you say, Millwall, just basically no changes to that team. Mind you, the took were to nearly the 70th minute, as you can see, but Liam Delap is going to absolutely thump one into the back of the net there. I tried to get him to go over the fans, but he just wasn't having it. He wanted to do his own thing. But about 65 minutes into this game, and finally we've taken the lead. The defence just kind of fallen apart there. Millwall could not hang on to what they were trying to keep going here. They were trying to push to that extra time and penalty mark, but they just could not do it. And look at what it means to all these players. Everton have won the FA Cup. David Moyes is doing his job properly. We've actually won a trophy, which is just so bizarre. I don't know how we've gotten to this final in the first place, but look at that, how nice it is for Tarkowski as well. Someone who's sort of on the lower stage of his career, sort of how would you say, sort of melting away, if that's how I would say it. He's on the back end of his career now, Tarkowski, and it's very nice to see him lift the trophy with this team. Is he going to be the captain next season? We'll find out. He's got the vice captain right next to him there in Pickford, but look at that, celebrating it in front of the fans. Beautiful looking trophy as well. Love the blue banners on it. Look at what that means. What a picture that is, by the way. Tarkowski lifting it. absolutely amazing. But yeah, only the goal in the game. Pretty disappointing. I was expecting goals galore, like from both teams. I'm not gonna lie, both teams are going for it. Even though it's only Millwall, I was expecting a bit more from them. But they have it. And Jaye with the assist and man the match. Delap with a goal.
What an ending to the season that is then. What an ending, seriously. We have finished 8th after 38 games played. We've won 14, drew 12, lost 12, scored 52 goals and only conceded 51. 54 points on the board. I mean, there's quite a big difference between us and 7th, but with us winning the FA Cup, we should make European football anyway, which actually might knock out either Manchester United or Spurs from getting European football, which is quite hilarious, I'm not going to lie. Still don't know how all of that shite works, but we should be in the Europa League, which was actually one of the board objective, obviously. Brighton, surprisingly, going down for the first time in a very long time right there, but I'm absolutely over the moon with finishing 8th, I'm not going to lie. The only thing is now the board's going to get a lot more strict of where we need to finish with the amount of money that we are spending on this team. What a season it was indeed for a lot of these players. Look at Mikalenko, so inspirational, doing his bit. Tarkowski, probably his last season as sort of like a main player at the back. He's probably going to be a backup next year. Eric Bailly got 5 games in there, not too bad. Jake O'Brien played a lot more. In the second half of the season actually started over Tarkowski. Apart from that FA Cup final, of course. Wanted Tarkowski to lift the trophy. Kabore, a little bit of a letdown, I'm not going to lie, since he joins. No goals, no assists. I did expect him to be more of a creator and assisting a lot from that side of the pitch, but apparently not. Idrissa Gana Gueye has retired now at the end of this season. I gave him the final game of the season, which was quite nice. Tim was complaining a lot this season about his game time. I did have him in the starting lineup, but I think with his simulating the game, just decided to put Neuhaus in over him, who, I mean, yeah, as you can see, has been a lot of a better player. Him and Roll just sort of getting on quite swimmingly. Rolls actually went up to an 80, which isn't bad. Neuhaus will stay here, maybe he's another season or two, I can see. Wu Young done a very good job, to be fair. Great backup to Dwight McNeil, who yet again had another amazing season. And Ndiaye, look at that. Absolutely fab from these two right here. Loving having these two in the team at the minute. Grant Kuyol has actually went up a few ratings there out on loan at Genoa. He's out there for 2 years. I know I did say I want this guy to play a lot, but he just was not getting game time, even when he's on the bench. Illing Jr. literally only played 1 game in the FA Cup, so hopefully this guy gets a bit more game time next season. Miguel Almiron actually turned out to be alright. Pretty much what about he gets at the Toon in real life, or what he used to get when he was regularly played. About 5 goals, few assists in there as well, so I can't complain. Nestri, I definitely want him to play more next season, so I think I did start him over Miggy yet again. Halfway point of the season I put him in over Miggy, and I think the game just does what it wants at this point. And then I think money well spent on Liam Delapia. First season with us, played practically every single game there. In fact, that may be every single game. With 15 goals and 2 assists, and he can only just get better with age, I would imagine. Schmidt doing pretty well out on loan, and then Fabricio only got a few games in there, but he's only a backup. To end this first full season in charge, we finished 8th in the Premier League, won the FA Cup, and yet again round 3 in that Carabao Cup. It seems to be a thing we just can't get past, but this is the thing that means the most, the FA Cup right there, and then 8th in the league. I'm absolutely not going to complain about. So much better from last season. The job we started here is going very well, and will just continue to get better. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Going into this new season then, there is not going to be a lot leaving our team, obviously. I'm probably going to make a fair few signings just to make the team a bit stronger, obviously pushing in for Europe. We are playing in Europe after winning the FA Cup, of course, and yeah, I think we should have quite a bit of money after where we're finished in the Prem and obviously winning that FA Cup. So there's not actually going to be much leaving the team. I don't think the team needs to change drastically, but I would like to bring in maybe 1 or 2 sort of big name players just to kind of see us over the line for this season. So this is what we're working with. The money spent is just sort of on all the youth stuff. Also new contracts. I want to dish out some new contracts to players. Players like Tarkowski are just going to be leaving on a free, I believe. He's sort of at that age now, and I think he was kind of falling off towards the end of last season. Still managed to win and lift the FA Cup with us, which was very nice. But yeah, will Tarkowski go down as a club legend, I wonder? I did say I want 1 or 2 massive players to be joining this club this season. With us playing in Europe, we've got a lot of extra football to be played. We need some more depth in that position, and we are signing the one and only Ousmane Diomande from Arsenal for 37 million, which isn't actually awful. And this guy joined Arsenal just last season. He's only had a full season at Arsenal, and he's already been moved on here. But he's only 22 years old, I believe. We've signed him to a 5-year contract with £100,000 a week. He is now the top earner of this team. I think Miguel Almiron just behind him on 80,000. Yeah, best possible deal was 34, so I think we've done very well there. Gave one excellent deal. Very fast, very good on the ball, tall, strong. I mean, he's the centre-back you want next to Branthwaite. He's basically just a faster Branthwaite and much better with the ball at his feet. So we'll see how he gets on. It means O'Brien will drop down to the bench or the reserves. I don't know whether to put Tarkowski on the reserves or O'Brien. Probably worth putting Tarkowski there. With Tarkowski's contract run out, I believe he actually might be retiring. So yeah, it's probably worth having O'Brien on the bench this season and then Tarkowski sitting out on the reserves, but we'll see. Doing the pre-season tournament for the first time in this career mode, I just thought, you know what, we're going to give it a go just to try and get a bit of extra money, get the legs going for the start of the season. And, well, we definitely have had the legs going, but Liam Delap has torn his hip flexor. First time I've actually seen that, but it's a 3-month injury, which is going to write him out for a good chunk of the first bit of the season. So yeah, we might struggle to score some goals.
So we move into the Community Shield up against the Premier League winners from the previous season, Manchester City, and it is just not going to go to plan. Without Liam Delap, we're going to struggle to score goals. We're going to struggle defensively because Branthwaite goes down injured in this game. Diomande plays very well, I will give that to him. He tried his very best at the back trying to carry her. It was just not enough. Haaland absolutely destroying her with his new contract as well. 500k a week. I mean, I might need to sign Grealish. I might need to do it. I might need to do it. 88 minutes in, 3-0. It's just an embarrassing time at Wembley. It's no FA Cup, is it though? It's no FA Cup. But yeah, well done to the Premier League champions, Manchester City. A 3-0 thrashing at Wembley. Left the fans devastated.
Absolutely not a good way to start the season. After Delap's injury, Branthwaite did indeed get injured in the Community Shield game there. So we're without Branthwaite for a month. We're without Delap for 3 months. I'm kind of glad I got Diomande in now because it's going to still be a pretty strong defence, but I think it's going to be a very rough first half of the season now. This is an absolutely massive signing, I feel. I've sold Neuhaus to Brentford for 8.2 million. I will show you that just after this, of course, but this is absolutely massive. Yuri Tielemans is joining us from Aston Villa, 32 million. Now, it's expensive for his age, especially. He is 29, but we're going to need a midfielder, and after selling Neuhaus, I feel like we're going to need someone to come in and replace that role. I know Neuhaus was dropped down to the bench for Tim, but I believe we're going to drop him to the bench and have Tielemans in that start lineup with Rowland, Dwight McNeil in the midfield. That is a solid midfield, I think, to go into this season with. But yeah, I fully understand Tielemans is quite old. He's signed a 3-year contract at 120k a week, which now beats the record from Diomande for the most paid player in this team. But it's very expensive for what he is, and you're only going to get about 3 years out of him. But I hope in the time that he is here that he is an absolutely outstanding player, just like he was at Leicester. As for our European League table games, we've got Trabzonspor, we've got Athens, Villarreal, Real Sociedad, Hearts, that'll be a very good one, Besiktas, Lille and Napoli. So some very challenging games in Europe there. And it's just more football to play on top of the Carabao Cup, of course, but I hope we can break through that league format and go out into the knockout stages. What an absolutely mental season so far. 19 games played. We are third in the Premier League here with 11 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. We've scored 35 and only conceded 23. 37 points. 4 points off of top there. I don't know how United are top, don't get us wrong, but yeah, that is incredible. I do think we'll fall off ever so slightly because one of the bigger aims is to obviously do very well in Europe. Which we're absolutely smashing as well. We're third in the Europa League, so we're doing very well there. We will make the knockout stages. And then obviously like FA Cup and that, which, yeah, we won last season. It would be nice to go ahead and do it again. But I mean, it might just be a title charge. By the looks of it, we might go ahead and just try our very best to get there. Currently how the team is looking, it's been swapped around very slightly. Obviously Delap was out and he's just come back. He's only played 6 games so far, but Fabricio has been incredible in that position at the minute this season. He's been amazing. Tarkowski's also been getting a lot of game time. I think Branthwaite's had a lot of injuries this season. He had that one at the very start and he's had a few through the season, so he's not off to a very good start. And then Iran Kunda just cannot get game time. Miguel Almiron's in his purple patch again. Kid's got like 6 goals or something this season. So yeah, very nice to see. I can't say how this team's doing so well, but maybe it's a solid midfield. And Jaya's having a brilliant season. He's got like 15 goals so far. So maybe it is just that, or maybe it's the new strong midfield. What a way it is to end the season, our very first top 4 finish. I will finish 8th last year, and this is just an incredible way to turn things around. This team, I did say at the very start of this season, I felt like there was just a missing piece in this team to sort of push through. We needed sort of like stronger players in a way. We brought Diamande in, we brought Tielemans in, and they've been exceptional in our journey to the top 4. So then, 38 games played, we won 22, only draw 5 games. We lost 11, which is quite a lot when you're making top 4. Scored 70 goals, thanks to Iliman and Jaya mainly. 52 against and 71 points on the board. Literally one more win when we could have finished third. But that is an incredible finish right there. Champions League football for the first time in Everton's history? It must be. First time in Everton's history making Champions League football. It's got to be. But that is absolutely mental. Let's see how some of the players done then. Jordan Pickford having one of his best seasons he's probably ever had right there. Wow, Mikalenko, take a bow, son. 6 goals, 4 assists as a left back. That's definitely his best season for us right there. Played literally every single game nearly. Tarkowski, happy retirement, mate. Still played like half a season right there. It must have been down injuries of some sort. I'm not quite sure. Also, Michael Keane, both of these retiring at 34 years old. So we're probably going to have to sign another bloody centre-back next season. I'm sick of signing them. None of these ones are coming through. Like, none of these ratings are going up too much, but very good first season for him. Diamande, he's went up like 3 ratings there in his very first season. Got himself a goal, 8 clean sheets, not too bad. Branthwaite done very well, but just had quite a few injuries, which kept him out of a lot of games. Pretty sadly. I know Kabore hasn't been anything special. I did sign this guy thinking his rating would just spike up, but I mean, we could be looking into replacing him maybe and letting Patterson go. Say having Kabore as the backup next year, that might be the way to go from this. Tim, another decently solid season from him. I did put Harrison Armstrong back out on loan in January, and he's actually went up 2 ratings doing that, so that's very good to see. Holy shit! Yuri Tielemans' best season by far in his career right here. I did say he would be a very good signing, even though he's 30 now. 17 goals, 5 assists. This guy has basically more goals than the strikers combined. This is crazy. Role, pretty good. 10 goal contributions. Cannot complain too much. He's went up a good few ratings there as well. Wu Yong, potentially going to be moved on next year. We'll see how he does. Dwight McNeil, 7 goals, 12 assists. Missed that consistency right here. The only issue is there's been a lot of offers from bigger teams like Liverpool, Tottenham and that coming in for him, so potentially he could be moved on and we'll replace him with someone next season. Iliman Jaya, literally, that's just silly. It's just silly. It's ridiculous. Look at what he's just done this season. 57 games, 32 goals, 14 assists. This guy cannot be stopped. The fact that he's only 81 overall baffles me, to be honest with you. That is insane. Kuyol, He's went up a rate now on loan, I suppose. Samuel Erling Jr. just couldn't really get some game time this season, unfortunately. Miguel Almiron, Purple Patch Miggy is back indeed. Yeah, again, though, probably going to be moved on in the summer. He's probably actually going to retire, I'm not going to lie. I could see him definitely retiring. So if he does decide to retire next year, we'll just keep him. Nestre just couldn't really get the game time over Miggy, not when he's in that form. And I've still got hope for him. He's only 21. I've still got hope for him. Delap, obviously injured for pretty much half the season and still managed to get 11 goal contributions on the board there. Schmidt, only 4 games. Definitely could be moved on next year. Fabrizio's come in his place as the backup striker and actually done bits, to be honest with you. So that is a solid end to the season from the lads. 4th place in the Premier League. We were the runners up in that Community Shield, unfortunately. Round 6 in the FA Cup. Round 4, we just cannot do well in the Carabao Cup. We cannot do well. And then the group stages of the pre-season tournament. But that finishes off our 3rd season in charge. Loads is going to be happening going into our 4th season with this team. We have Champions League football to be played, and of course a lot is going to be happening. Dwight McNeil has been transfer listed, not because he's bad. I just feel like we could definitely move him on and replace him with potentially like a younger attacking midfielder who's potentially around the same rating right now and can just grow better. I can't see McNeil growing above like an 83 to an 84 overall. And he's already spent, a lot of his career here at Everton. And I feel like it's just time to move him on. Elijah Campbell, definitely time to move him on now. Schmidt, only getting 4 appearances last year, cannot get into the team. It's time to move on. We've got Arthur Hill, Elliot Fisher also on the transfer list there. On the loan list then, we have Lewis Hudson, who done very well out on loan for 2 years. He's been out on loan for 2 years. He's come back at a 74 overall, so I just gave him a contract extension for an extra 4 years now, and we're going to send him out on loan. He's going to be a future goalkeeper right there. Arlo Stevens also gave him a new contract. Declan Smart and Hugh Eaton also getting a new contract and put onto the loan list. As for signings then, we've already went and made some, and we'll start here. Lance Wheeler joins us from Bournemouth, 23 million plus Nathan Patson. Not too bad, 38k a week on a 5-year contract, I believe it is. Absolutely mental. Basically, the reason I've done this, I want Kabore to have a bit of competitiveness for that right back role, and Lance Wheeler, only being 19, definitely going to be the future of that. Kabore is already 26, so I'm not saying I'm going to move Kabore on. That's why I put Nathan Patterson in this deal, but Wheeler will be the backup for now. I can pretty much guarantee you by the end of the season, Wheeler's going to be that starting right back. Mitchell Baker was a complete free agent. This guy was on the free agents list and I went, you know what, I can't give up on a chance at just bringing in an extra bit of depth into this team. So Mitchell Baker joins us on a free transfer, 70k a week. And then this one is mental. I don't know how this guy is free. I really don't. I don't even know what team he was previously at, but Savka, the Croatian central midfielder here, 80 overall at 20 years old. Sign him for free on 65k a week. I just could not say no. Alright then, it has been a while since I checked in with you lot. Obviously a few seconds for you because of editing. The magic of editing there. But here we go. We have made, as you can see, more changes since where we last left off. So, we have just brought in a new centre-back, Robin Hranchuk, I would imagine you say it as. 10.5 million centre-back. He's 6'2", he's only 27, so there's still a bit time for growth, but it's mainly just to be on the bench. Eric Bailly is retiring at the end of the season, and I believe Jake O'Brien's contract's out at the end of the season, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to be giving him an extension, so we're going to need to plan ahead with the centre-back roles in this team. Then it gets a bit more exciting as we go. This list, obviously. Gianluca Prestiani was signing from Liverpool for 30.5 million. The young sort of midfielder. I've got him starting out wide instead of Nestre and Miggy, but he can play an attacking midfield if he needs to. 80k a week there. not too bad. And then this is the big replacement for Dwight McNeil. When Dwight McNeil does sell, this is him, Sem Stieng. I believe I had him on a career mode. It might have been Leicester in FC25, and this guy was very good off the bench, but I wonder what he's going to be like starting. He's 25, so a little younger than McNeil, and he's already a rating higher than him, so there's just loads of room for growth. 42 million from Real Sociedad, 80k a week as well. The wages aren't actually too much of a problem with these new players coming in. Okay, so much has happened that I feel like I just need to sort of go through everything, I'm not going to lie, in this list. So, Lance Wheeler's joined us for 23 million plus Patterson. Yusuf Chamiti's been sold to Fulham for 15.6 million. Elijah Campbell has went to, I don't know who that is, but 660k. Dwight McNeil did eventually sell to Bayern Munich there for 37 million, pretty much the highest price I could get from, unfortunately. So this is his replacement. Obviously, Sten had to pay a little bit more than what I sold McNeil for, but let's hope it's worth it. Bloody let's hope. You've then obviously got Robin and Gianluca coming in. This is mental as well. Obviously, coming in from Liverpool, there's going to be a lot of stick going there. And it would be very nice to see this guy just perform really well or even score against Liverpool. That would be amazing. Arthur Hill has finally been sold, 1.5 million. Obviously, we've got Baker in for free. We've got Zvaka in for free. Lewis Hutchinson out on a 2-year loan again to Birmingham. We've got Olo Stevens out on loan for a year. Sassuolo, Declan Smart out on loan for a year. We've got Eaton out on loan for a year. And Harrison Armstrong out on loan for a year yet again with Armstrong. His rating just doesn't grow enough, you know what I mean? It's hard for him to get into this team, so it's just going to be loan spells until, I mean, the rating's good enough or he's too old and we'll just decide to sell him. But this is what I've made from the start lineup. I've found a few more coaches to join the team, so I've paid for some of them, so hopefully ratings start really boosting up now and that. I mean, Diamande went up 3 ratings in a season, which is crazy. But yeah, hopefully ratings start boosting up on that. Roll's doing very well rating-wise and that. So the team's looking good. Hopefully Delap has a full season this time. And this is how the bench is looking. You've got 2 backup centre-backs. You've got Wheeler in there as the only full-back. You've got Tim, Wu Yong and Svaka in there as your midfielders. And then you've got Illing Jr., Irakunda, and then Fabricio. And then on your reserves, you've even got Baker, Miggy, Virginia, Bailey. So, I mean, the depth is there. As long as we don't get injuries, the depth is there. What's happened here? But I'm in the Europa League this season. I come fourth. I'm confused. I'm not quite sure how this works. Unless it was like the team that finished below me in 5th last year won the Champions League. I really don't know. How am I in the Europa League again? I mean, either way, Villarreal 20, we've got Benfica, Sparta Praga, Salzburg, Midtjylland, Lazio, and then is that Anderlecht? It is Anderlecht. I don't know how I'm in the Europa League. We'll roll with it, but I feel defeated. This should have been my first Champions League season. Alright then, 23 games into the season, it's not a good look when pushing for Champions League here. We are 7 points away from the top 4 here. Pretty poor defensively by the looks of it. 32 goals against us and 7 losses there. Potentially moving Branthwaite on, I think, might be a good idea. Bringing in someone just like Diamande. Could it be Pickford's last season? He seems to be conceding quite a lot of goals now. To be fair, I mean, age-wise with the keeper, it's not too much of a problem, but it would probably be better bringing in a younger one, or maybe he's using Hudson from his loan spell in Birmingham. So this is a sticky situation to be in halfway through the season, but I'm going to see what we can do. Decided to do it. Branthwaite has gone. It was a tough decision. He's been at Everton bloody ages now, and especially when this isn't like 5 seasons into the future. He's been here donkeys. But it is Levy Caldwell. I just went with a safe option. I know he's good, and we've done Branthwaite plus 29.2 million. Very expensive, but I know he's good. I know he's a reliable centre-back. We're signing him to a 5-year contract at 85k. He's also a year younger than Branthwaite. He's 24. Branthwaite's 25. And then obviously with O'Brien leaving next season on a free, we may as well just start bringing up the depth of centre-backs. But he should make, hopefully, a big difference at the back. And that's probably it for January, unless something pops up. Okay, I've just had to stop the semi. We are in serious trouble right now. We are ninth in the league, and as you can see in the top right there, we are very close to being sacked, and I think it might happen. I think it's going to happen. We'll fail to reach the semis of the Europa League. We'll fail to reach the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. The only thing that's left to do is finish the Europa League spot, which I don't think we're going to do, and I don't think they're going to give us enough time. I don't think we're going to see the end of the season. So if this is the case, and if this is how this rebuild ends, this is the statistics for the players, because after this I won't be able to say it, but it's such a shame, because we are building something out, but the game is so strict that, like, I can't do much more. I mean, we're through all of the competitions. There's not much more I can do with this team now. Just look at how some of these players have performed, man. Sem, a little bit of a disappointment there, but definitely a player who can work on it. He's already went up a rating as well. And Jair, definitely a lot worse from last season, but that's still very solid. Nice to see Illing Jr. being played a bit more. Miggy in his retirement season going off, getting. Nice to see Nestri playing more as well. And that's an issue right there then. Delap injury. That's potentially why we're not getting anywhere. Also, only 7 goals, 5 in the Prem. If we do survive, maybe we'll sign a new striker up there. I thought Delap would have been the future, but I mean, the rating looks good, that's about it. But yeah, I'm going to keep this updated, but I've got a feeling I'm not even going to last until the end of the season. So if this is it for this rebuild, I'm sorry. I tried my best, but there's some tough games to go. Let's just see what we can do. And there it is, 2 games later, we've been sacked. I cannot believe it. It's harsh. It is harsh. I mean, Everton aren't going to go anywhere if they keep sacking managers like this, I tell you. That is harsh. But there you have it, we've been sacked literally. Played Liverpool, lost 2-1, beat Fulham 3-0, and then we got sacked. I got sacked after winning a game. But yeah, what a career mode it's been, what a journey. We lasted nearly 5 full seasons, but into the 5th season of the potential 10-year rebuild I was doing. So, I mean, we got halfway through and I've been sacked. I mean, I suppose it's kind of on me, but at the end of the day, we had quite limited money to work with. I've rebuilt the team probably the best I could. A few decisions could have been better anyway, but that's an awful way for it to end. But if you guys have enjoyed this series and want to see more rebuild series, please comment down below the team you want to see next, whether it's West Ham, Southampton, you know, these teams that have just gotten new managers. It would be amazing to do them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please smash a like button. Make sure you still subscribe so you do not miss the future content. And I'll see you in the next one. Let's hope I don't get sacked in the next one.